Hey guys, it's Victoria here, back with another episode of Validated by Victoria. I hope you've been enjoying my previous episodes. As you know, I was on a long hiatus trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and now we're back every week hitting you with new influencers, new stars, just hearing everyone's stories that you may not hear all the time, in the news or on their TikTok. So just trying to touch on a little bit of everything, any kind of topic that you would like. Obviously, we always talk about dating. You guys know I always have to talk about dating, being single, and in the dating scene. I love to hear everyone's opinions on dating in 2022. But updates on my life. I actually was supposed to have another person on this podcast, but he kind of got a little upset because I ran over on my other filming of another podcast. But I'm about to have my friend. I just messaged a friend real quick. I could have done a solo episode, but I messaged a friend real quick. Her name is Heather. Her Instagram is Heather Effect ASMR. She does some really cool ASMR videos, and she really pops off on TikTok, Instagram. I think she's on YouTube as well. And we've always been kind of social media friends. I'm not really even sure if we've met in real life. Maybe we have, because she is from Charleston area, and I used to live in Charleston for 5 years. But I'm really excited to have her on the pod and just kind of talk about life, talk about ASMR, because you guys love some ASMR. I swear, I do a TikTok live and I'll put ASMR in the caption. I'll get 20,000 people viewing it, but it's not ASMR because I don't really know how to do that. I'm do I click my, I don't know. But she's the queen of it. So I'm really excited to have her on. And I feel bad about my other guest because I did go over, I was filming with Jackson, and because I try to do a couple episodes in a day, because you guys know I'm always busy. I'm always crazy. I actually work a full-time job and I do other content creation, other marketing strategies for other businesses, and I invest in other things. So it's kind of a whirlwind for me, my life. But when I come to the podcast studio, I try to knock out a couple episodes every time, try to schedule people. But your girl is always late. Your girl is always behind when it comes to my personal stuff. So, yeah, and I feel pretty bad, but we'll have him on the pod again soon. But I'm really excited to have Heather on. Other updates in my life, just kind of living life in Florida right now, working a lot. We have Daisy in the studio. She's at my feet right now. Yeah, still single. We're going into cuffing season right now, and I'm still single. It's sad. Hot girl summer has ended. I posted TikTok. I was hot girl summer has ended. Warm girl fall has begun, I guess. I'm just trying to make a thing because I'm still single. But yeah, that's just how life's going for me. I'm excited to have my other friend on the pod, my best friend of 10 years, Brittany. I'm going to have her in this week. We're going to film something, and we'll give you some juicy details about our lives. She'll probably reveal some stuff about me. God, I hope not. But we'll see what happens with that. But I'm really excited again to have Heather on. I'm glad she kind of became a podcast guest last minute. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. Maybe she'll give you some ASMR feels. So enjoy the interview, guys. Let me know what you think. Hey, Heather, what is up? We just roll right into it here. I already introed you while I was waiting, and we just roll right into it. Thank you for joining in. Last minute guest. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you look beautiful. How's life been going? I see you doing a lot of cool things on Instagram.
Yeah, life is good. I'm currently listening to, I think it's called The Power of Now or something, or have you heard of it? It's a New York Times bestseller that's all about trying to be zen and
nice
mind over everything. That. I don't know. That's my vibe right now. Mental health.
I need that because I had 4 or 5 martinis the other day, and I got a dramatic text, and I just went off. I think I showed you about that, and I was kind of perpetually a little martini drunk, and I need to zen out for a little bit. But I'm back here in Florida about to zen out, and the weather's perfect. And you're in Charleston, right?
Yeah, I'm in Charleston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weather's pretty decent in Charleston.
Yeah. How's Charleston life treating you?
Good. I feel like I don't have like the normal Charleston life because I just don't leave my house.
Yeah.
I just am like in my house.
Honestly, like I love Charleston so much, but like the last time I was there, which was like 2 weeks ago, I just feel like it's the same old, same old. And like there's no FOMO of me not being in Charleston anymore. It's the same stuff going on. King Street, same people you see out. When I had my event, we had like new people in town and everyone's like, oh my God, there's new people. But it's just the same old. So I feel like being at home, you're not missing like anything.
Yeah. So like, how is that like going to all these different places and just like, it looks like you live like such an extravagant life, like in all these different places. But like, I spent a lot of time, and granted it was 2020, like in New York and stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I have anxiety, but like some of these places in my mind, I hype them up so much and I go there and I'm just kind of like, it's not as great.
That
as
was
I
like
thought
me
it
with
was.
LA. Like I hyped LA so much. Like in my head, I'm like, I want to live here. I want to be here. I want to be part of it. And I'm like, I can do the same thing here in South Florida and pay less taxes. But yeah, just traveling so much. I don't know. I really love to travel. I feel like growing up in a small town, I was like isolated from the world and just kind of like love just being places and going places, seeing new people, doing new things, but it does get tired. Like I just got back from probably like a month stint of traveling and I'm exhausted. Very exhausted. So I'll be staying in one spot for a little bit, hopefully. I say that and then I'll be gone the next weekend, but I like find like peace in like 3 days and I'm like, all right, what's next? But yeah, I mean, we were in New York. I mean, I used to live in New York too. And I do think it does get a little overhyped. I can't do New York in the wintertime. That is one thing. My dog hates New York because there's no grass.
Yeah. It's just weird. One of the things that really shocked me was just how much trash, like when it's trash day, but it's like it's trash a few days and everyone just puts their garbage outside. I'm like, this is so gross. I don't know. I'm like not.
Yeah, that is really gross.
Everywhere.
Like I'm coming from Charleston, like you're not used to that. Like everything's pretty clean.
Yeah.
And I was in New York for Fashion Week and I was walking with my friend Allison and we like look up and there's this guy just littering. He was just like throwing tearing papers and just throwing them in the air. I'm like, well, at least it's just papers and nothing, anything crazy. But I'm like, this is a mess.
Yeah, I genuinely like feel bad. I can't litter. I actually couldn't. If I see trash, I have to pick it up. I was just like, I don't know.
This guy was throwing so much trash. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild. Well, tell the pod a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you get into ASMR and everything?
Okay. So my name is Heather and I am a lingerie model and mom of 4 and also an ASMR artist. If you don't know what ASMR is, it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
I never even knew that.
That's a lot of words. Basically just to say, like, the best way I like to describe it to people is like, when you're in school and someone like kind of like scratches your back or was writing on the board, maybe you will get like some goosebumps or something, that little tingly sensation, that is ASMR. And so they have done scientific studies and all these things to show that that sensation can actually be kind of like a homeopathic way to reduce anxiety, depression. And some people just like ASMR. It's like it's a vibe, like it's something to help you relax. And yeah, so it's become more mainstream for sure. And the way I got into it was just, I always have liked being like a creator. I've always done something on social media and I used to, I gotta say, I used to stream on Twitch and I was playing like
I think Fortnite I remember that
and stuff like that.
I think I used to see you like posting that.
Yeah. And just random, like I had people that were like in my community and I would just jokingly start doing some ASMR. And I don't know, someone messaged me and was like, you're actually kind of good at it. You should look into it. So I went on YouTube and I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, I actually know what this is. I've experienced ASMR my entire life. And it just became something that I was really into and just full sent ASMR. And then now here we are.
Do you do it on YouTube? Like I saw your TikTok. Yeah. You do it on Instagram.
So my main place where I do ASMR is Heather Defect ASMR on YouTube. And I have about like 400,000 subscribers on there. And
That's incredible.
YouTube, there's like a whole bunch of different types of ASMR, and there's fast, there's slow, there's role plays, there's scary things. I mean, as a genre of content, it's really exploded, which is cool to see, you know, people just doing different things with it and everything. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much like kind of what I do.
Yeah, I mean, ASMR has really popped off. Like I see it on my TikTok a lot, and sometimes I go to sleep to it.
Yeah,
It feels so
really
soothing.
is so relaxing. Honestly, like what I've been trying to figure out is how to make it even more cozy, because nothing now that I am with people that I know more popular doing ASMR, like my friends and family will ask me like, oh, can you like, you know, like ASMR me in person? And I think there's a scene in The White Lotus. I don't know if you saw that. There's a show of like these like tourists, they're at a hotel or whatever. Anyway, Sydney Sweeney is in it. And she's like, oh, do you want to do ASMR on me? And she's like lighting this lighter and like doing this stuff like on her friend and ASMRing her in person. And it's so true. Like I do it to my kids every night. I'll like gently like scratch their face and do whatever. And it's just so relaxing. It's just a weird, kind of quirky little thing, but I don't know.
I think
cool.
I like used to think like, oh my God, what is this? But then I like, now that you say that, I think back and like when I was a little kid, my mom would like, cause I would get headaches all the time and my mom would just like rub my head. Like, I don't know the
gentle touching is just so, and it's just interesting because you can recreate that like sensation just by, you know, a little something like that.
I know. I see the people on like TikTok like do stuff with their hands and I'm like, what is this? And I start like watching and I'm like, oh my God, it's like a little like massage for my brain.
Yeah.
And it makes me at ease. I need to like pin some or like save some, like if I'm getting like dramatic and just watch.
And just I honestly, it's such a great little, I like falling asleep to ASMR too. Yeah. It's just a nice little, I don't know. It kind of gets you in that zone.
It's my new white noise at night when I'm falling asleep. But you got 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like that's insane. Like how did that happen? You just have like one video that popped off, or?
Well, I mean, when I first started doing ASMR, I did have some videos that were popular, and then about like a year into doing ASMR, I kind of was in the news for a scandal, which really should not have really been a scandal in my opinion, because I was interviewing my friend about being the Sports Illustrated casting that we went to. And I was breastfeeding my daughter during the interview. And people were just like, oh my God, this is insane. Because I was breastfeeding my daughter. It was just like so not a big deal. But
I remember a BuzzFeed article on that.
Yeah. And so that kind of, I guess, helps in a way. My channel, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it helped or hurt. It's just like exposure, right?
Yeah.
You know? And so like people were looking me up and stuff. And so I definitely noticed that at that point in time, I had an uptick in my subscribers. But I mean, at that point in time, I already had like 100,000. So it's just like, you know.
You were already a somebody because, you know, they want to be looking at you. But that's like... I remember seeing that BuzzFeed art because I was going to ask you about that. Like, how did that come to be?
If you look up on Twitch, if you Google, like, can you breastfeed on Twitch, it will be like, streamer Heather defect, blah, 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 blah.
Really?
And, you know.
So that was a thing. Like, they were, like, trying to ban the breastfeeding on Twitch?
Yeah. So they removed the clip. Some clip, because you can like do clips on Twitch. And so they removed the clip. And I was like, this is so dumb. Like, breastfeeding is not, it shouldn't be stigmatized in any way. Like,
or it shouldn't be sexualized either.
It's just like feeding a baby with a bottle. Like, this is just so not a big deal. But yeah, so then they went in and wrote in their TOS and changed it to say, you know, like in those instances, that's okay. And yeah, it was a whole big, huge thing, way bigger than I thought it was going to be. A lot of people weighed in and got involved. And
everyone's got an opinion about something these days. It doesn't matter what it is. Someone has an opinion on anything, whether it's air is real. There'll be like someone who doesn't think it's real. So like everyone's got an opinion on something. So it's just very interesting. I don't like when people sexualize that. I'm like, dude, it's a baby. Like, chill.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like
Facts of life.
There's like some, I don't know, rule something of the internet where people will sexualize anything that's true. Anything that can be sexualized will be sexualized. And it's just like,
I mean, it's feet for me. Like, I don't know why people sexualize feet. I was talking with my friends. We read a study why men love feet. And I'm just like I don't understand. I don't understand.
I think because like I get a lot of exposure to people's like kinks and sort of things.
Yeah.
Like I have a greater understanding of how that works. But I actually did some research on that too. And I guess there's like some sort of something in the brain that's close to something that has to do with
men are weird in my opinion. So I don't really, I'm just like, bro, like, why are you looking at my bunions? Like, it is not attractive, but if that's what you want, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've sold feet pics before because I'm like, you really want a picture of my bunion? All right, here you go. So one time I face tuned my bunion. I'm not gonna lie. But I read an article, something with men and like they have a sexual like nerve in their foot or something. It's just something connected to their feet. It's something connected like in your brain stimuli to their feet, and it's just men only. I don't think it's women. So men and men and
do
feet.
Women get a foot fetish? I have no idea.
Honestly, I don't know any women with a foot fetish. If you're a female out there with a foot fetish, let me know because like I've never seen a female with a foot fetish.
I'm curious if a woman.
I have to like sometimes hide my feet on Instagram because it'll end up on Feet Finder, and I'm like, dang, someone else is getting money for my feet. Like if anyone's gonna monetize off my feet, it's gonna be me. But yeah, like all that to say, anyone sexualizes anything, whether it's, I don't know. And sometimes it gets annoying because you probably deal with this, like being a model and like being on like social media, you get like censored a lot. Yeah. Like my bikini, like sometimes I can't monetize off reels. Not that it's like a big monetization anyways, but it gets annoying to me when they're like, oh, we cut off your monetization because it's sexual. And I'm like, I'm literally in a bathing suit walking. Yeah. And you probably get that sometimes too. I'm like, I'm literally clothed.
Yeah. I honestly don't even mess with any of that monetization stuff with that anymore, just because it's like, I have requirements on the modeling side of like things I have to do for Yandy, modeling lingerie and stuff for them. And so it's like, I have to post these things. What am I going to do? You know? So
that's why I've really put in, like, people are like, oh, I want to monetize on like Instagram, like TikTok. And I think like, honestly, the payout's horrible. And I was even talking to the episode that's out right now with Alex James. We were talking about monetization on platforms because he's a big influencer. And that's why Vine crumbled, because Vine wouldn't pay out their influencers. And that's why it went away. And you look at TikTok and Instagram, they barely pay out. But it's the brand partnerships that are really important. So wait, who do you partner with, like for the lingerie? Like, I think I saw Yandy.
Yandy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So Yandy, I'm a Yandy Vixen, which is like their version of Victoria's Secret models. And yeah, I've been a Yandy Vixen since, my gosh, probably when did I first start? It was 2019, I think. And I like went out to Phoenix and shop with them and everything. Awesome. So
did they just find you on Instagram, or?
You know, I pitched them. I just wanted to do like a collaboration, and I did one, and I made a video for them, and I got like 1 million views actually on YouTube. And they were like, do you want to be a vixen? And I was like, we're rolling out this video. I was like, I would love to do that. I've always wanted to. I love lingerie and I love modeling, and and I thought it wasn't going to be possible for me because I live in Charleston and because I had, children, and I wasn't going to be able to move, and and the modeling scene here is just, And so, I was like, absolutely, I definitely want to model for you guys. And so now I do. They send me little fun boxes every month that I shoot all my stuff myself. And
I was about to ask, do you have like someone who helps you? You kind of have like
I wish I did. Like I really am at that point with all my stuff where like I do need help, but it's just so hard to.
It's hard to find someone you trust. I finally found someone I trust to like help me because it's overwhelming. And I really, I don't know if you're like me, but I'm type A. And so I like to have my hand over everything. And I'm like, I have a way I like things. I want it my way. But once I started delegating, I feel like a little less stressed, but I still need more. I still need more help. But in Charleston, it's hard. It's very hard to find because I feel like social media and like influencing and modeling is still so new there. And it's not like,
I mean, even with like Charleston Fashion Week, I'm thinking back to like when I was walking in Charleston Fashion Week, like in 2007 or something, and it's been around that long, and there just hasn't been that much progression.
And it's sad because there's a lot of like quality people like yourself, and there's some other creators, but you know, you don't really know where they're at because Charleston's just not the hub for it. And that's when I'm like, moved down to South Florida. First of all, I love Florida. I always wanted to be here. And it's just more of a hub, and I'm finding more creators, and it's just a good place to be and to grow. But I mean, I always loved the South. But going back, you said you're a mom. Like, when I found out you're a mom, I was like, what? Like, you're... Like, you don't, like, you look so, like, you look like you're 17. Like, whatever fountain of youth you've been drinking out of, like, I need that. But when I found out, like, it was the breastfeeding thing, and I was like, wait, she's a mom? Like, what?
Yeah, I have 4 kids.
I can't believe that. Bless you.
They're the age of 8, ranging from 4 to 8.
I literally, like, I just like couldn't believe it. I'm like, that's someone else's kid. It's not hers. Like, it cannot.
Well, you know how like people will like start to say like talk about you online and stuff, and like people like started rumors that they were like my stepchildren or like not my real kids. And I'm like, trust me, I definitely went to the hospital, and all of these humans came out of my body for sure. Like,
you look amazing.
Thank you.
You like amazing. I don't know if I saw you before you had children, but do you think like some people say they have like a pregnancy glow up? Like, do you think you had your like glow up after having kids?
You know, I think I'm having a separation post-divorce, getting out of a toxic relationship glow up.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. I feel like this is the season of breakup. I just talked about like literally in the intro that it's cuffing season, and like how I'm still single after all these years. Nervous laugh. But everyone that I know has been breaking up, and I'm like, well, maybe it's about to be like warm girl fall, because like all my friends are back to being single. And they're all having glow ups too. So I truly, after every like kind of, I don't want to like, I've never been married, so I don't really know how divorce goes. And I've seen it because I used to work with like a divorce attorney, and I was I never want to do this. I had to like sit in a mediation one time over a child, and I'm like, this is not for me. So I'm like, this legal life over on this side of the spectrum is not for me. On the business side, but after every breakup, I feel like I glow up. So I'm like, I feel like I need another breakup in my life. Just to help me, just like
for a little bit, just to like
just a little date, and then. But I mean, you look incredible, like stunning, incredible. I've always thought you're stunning, beautiful, but so 4 children, like I can't believe I can barely take care of myself and my dog. How do you do it all? How do you manage all of it?
Remember we started the episode talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Because I'm going crazy.
No, I feel that.
It's just, I mainly just do work, and I do my mom life. I really don't have much of a social life. I probably could have more of a social life, but I just don't have the energy really. You know what I mean?
Well, being with your kids is pretty social. So
and they're fun. I mean, it's all about like routines, getting into a routine, and just like anything in your life. Like I've found that anytime I'm my happiest version of myself and my family, and in any state of my life, is when I just had a really good routine. It really just comes down to that. And I did 75 hard, which I don't know if you know what that is, but like that was the one thing that I've done, I guess, recently that made me realize how important a routine is, and some of those little things from 75 hard that I learned just like bring in some happiness in your life. But it's interesting, like sometimes the more tasks that you put in your day kind of make you get more things done.
That's
Adding
so
more
true.
to your plate sometimes does make you get more things done. So it's like my life is crazy, and I have 4 kids, and it can be wild, but because I have so much going on, I have to be so mindful about my time. And you know? So I think I spend less time like dilly-daddling around, you know, like I just have to get to it when I have something to do, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel that. And it's funny that you say like you don't really have a social life. Because I just talked with Jackson. He was on the previous episode that will be out, and we just spoke about like routine. And it's just so funny you say that. I feel like a lot of the top creators, like, and people who are doing social media well, they all have a routine. Like I have a routine. I always wake up very early in the morning. I go to Pilates. That's my thing. I meditate. At least I always have a morning routine, even though my life is kind of crazy, but I do have some sense of like balance in my life, and I think that's super important. For myself, like I do try to like socialize. I used to like to isolate myself a lot, but I mean I don't have children, so I just have a dog. So sometimes I actually need to talk to an actual human being.
Yeah, that's the one thing that gets hard is, and I am curious if there are other creators. I wish there was a way to like, or some app that not like a dating app, but like a friend app for creators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just
oh my gosh, we could start that.
DMs, but you know, like a creator type of like
a network
friend, because when you do social media, it's so different and it's so hard. Like if people don't get it, and especially like living where it's just, you know, in Charleston, it can be, you don't have
especially where you're at. Do you ever see yourself living anywhere else? Because like, especially where you're at, it's really hard to connect with another creator. And that was my problem. And I feel like I was stifled because I didn't really have choices of create. Like my friends, they would be like, why are we filming again? Like, okay, bro, like this is like what I want to do. This is what I love to do. Like I love content creation, but it's very hard to find someone to like do that with. And I mean, have you ever thought about going somewhere else? Or I mean, you went to New York, but
so like I really like Florida too, and I like that there's no income tax.
There. That's a plus. And also there's a lot of amazing people here.
And I needed to be warm. So if I was going to go anywhere, it would probably be somewhere in Florida, but I don't know. I'm like such a creature of habit, and it's going to be hard, I think, for me to move from Charleston. You know, it's just like, because this is just where I am.
Charleston's beautiful. Like, and it, you know, it's so homely. And every time I go there, like, I'm like, oh, this feels like home.
And the food here is so good. I mean, like, and like when I've been to so many different places and trying like the cuisine, because I've, you know, back in my corporate job, it's like the company's paying for it. Fine. We'll have all the nice food. And Charleston food is just like incredible.
I know, it's out of this world.
So good. And
when I had my event, like everyone was like, oh my God, we're like so full. Like we've eaten so much. And like, they were just not used to the Charleston food, and they're like, felt so satisfied. And like, even the last event I threw and had like friends who were, you know, hadn't really come to Charleston, they like loved it. But in terms of growing and creating, it's very hard to be there. And I like tell a lot of people, you know, it's a good place to settle down and have your family, but it's just really hard to connect with other people, and hope that changes in the next couple years. But for now, South Florida is like where it's at. But I mean, I love Charleston. I'll definitely always have my place there and come back. So next time I'm in town, we'll have to get together, get a coffee or something. You can socialize with me.
Great. You
can socialize with me. Well, I'm going to wrap up this episode. I'm really I'm so happy I was able to have you on and get to talk to you. We always like chat on Instagram, DM,
for sure.
and just about life and everything. So I'm just glad I got to have you on and have my followers and viewers get to know you a little bit better, because you are an incredible person. And I feel like it's important to know people for who they really are. Like you're a mom, you're like hustling out here, like you're doing big things. So, and I'm going to listen to some of your ASMRs at night because I need to go to sleep. Wait, can you give us like a teaser of like a hand ASMR?
Yeah. We can do it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. My nails are like perfect this right now. We'll do a little bit of mic scratching. Can you hear what I'm doing?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
I feel so calm. I feel so zen. Like I feel like my heart just is like, because I was drinking like an energy drink, and now I feel like zen. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, watch Heather Effect ASMR on YouTube, right?
Yes, Heathered Effect. If you guys like, you want to chill, you like good vibes, good energy.
We love good vibes.
YouTube, Heathered Effect ASMR. All my other social media, I kind of go off and can be a little weird and funny, my quirky little self sometimes.
Hey, we love that.
If you like that too, Heathered Effect everywhere.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure my followers give you a follow. Thank you.
Thank you
for coming on. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.